Proud of our guys, the way we responded after the Clemson game, and to be able to come down here and play against a good Georgia Tech team, and to get the win on the road was, I was happy for our guys. I thought they fought, from the beginning to the end. Even when when they made their comeback, we knew they would make a run. That's what happens. But I thought we kept composed, we kept fighting, we made the shots that we needed to make down the end. I thought our stops at the end were really good. The zone, I thought kind of saved us a couple of possessions and some time, but we just finished the game the way we needed to finish. I was just proud of our guys because they really shared the ball and moved and screened and played for each other. So again, we got to continue to do that. But just proud of the way we played, proud of the way we finished the game, and just continually just I thought we improved and got better today. As a team, I thought we improved and got better, and we just got to continue to do that.
You didn't turn it over at all in the first half, and then there was that stretch in the second half where you turned it over a ton, and that's when they came back.
Yeah.
What happened during that stretch?
Yeah, I thought we had some careless ones. I really did. I thought we got some careless ones. I thought we stopped moving like we were in the first half. I thought the second half we didn't move to get open, and they started ramping up the pressure, and they disrupted our timing, and we have to do a better job. But I thought the first half we moved, we got open, we got the ball to where we needed to get into. The second half we didn't do that, and in particular during that run, we got careless with the ball and allowed them to get back into the game. And those are the things that we got to clean up and continually work on, and we'll watch that and get better at that.
Adrian, could you talk a little bit about what Donnie is meaning to this team? Because we've seen now in these last two games, not only is he scoring on offense, but it seems like you might even be giving him more minutes than you initially planned to give him on his return.
Yeah, he was ready to go. Again, he hasn't played as much basketball as some of these other guys, so he's had time to rest and recover. But no, Donnie's big for us. He gives us a guy that we can go inside, a guy that can step outside. He's a versatile offensive player. And again, I think he really kind of sets the tone for us. It gives us a different look. I thought the games without him, we were way more perimeter oriented, and I thought, that was some of our struggles. Now that we can mix, go down, go inside, and our free throws. That's another good free throw shooter to add to the list. So I just think, he's very important to what we do.
Coach, on a similar note, it feels like I don't know if this is working or not.
Don't worry about it.
It feels like with Donnie, you guys are really starting to develop. It's working now? Okay. Sounds
I
good.
can still hear you.
Coach, it really feels like with Donnie, you guys are starting to develop an offensive identity over these last couple of games. How have you sort of seen that development?
I think we've done a good job of, after the Clemson game, kind of, building off of that. There was a lot of things that we needed to clean up. And I thought, again, with our screening and really being strong with the ball, again, he's a guy that you can throw the ball below the foul line. And that's a big difference for us. We wasn't getting that before. So to be able to throw the ball below the foul line and, and get some easier shots and be able to continue to put pressure on the rim, that's really key. And I think, again, we haven't been whole the whole year, so this is the first time in the last two games that we've been whole. So I think we'll continue to improve and to get that connection.
Yeah, I saw that you had spoken with Nate George before the game. You kind of gave him a hug. I don't know what kind of conversations you had with him about coming back here and playing, but I'm curious about what those conversations were like.
Didn't have too many besides just go out there and have fun and play. It's a basketball game, and again, I was a player, and I experienced, in my professional career, going back and playing one of my former teams, and I know those. No matter what you say, no matter what the coach says, that's something that's special, and you want to play well, and he did. He delivered. I mean, he was clutch down the end. Again, so it wasn't really too much, but just go out there and have fun. This is a basketball game. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. But I thought he really responded, and he stepped up for us and delivered, down the stretch.
Nadongo was able to play a long stretch in the second half with 4 fouls. Was that something were you trying to get the ball to the guy that he was having to guard, or was he just able to play that game without picking up that 5th foul?
I believe they started switching, so every time they switch and the matchup that we would want, we probably couldn't get. But again, we wanted to keep moving the ball. A lot of times when you start to try to pick on someone or try to attack someone. You kind of stand around a little bit. That's we just wanted to keep playing in our flow. And I thought a lot of our offensive struggles in that stretch just was because we didn't move. We didn't get open, and we didn't we weren't strong with the ball.
Coach, you were the last team in Division I to play a true road game, but at times tonight it felt like a Syracuse home game almost. One, did you expect that? And two, what does that support from the Orange Faithful do for your guys on the floor?
I forgot to even thank Orange Nation that came out, and they were loud, and it feels good. I think even our players didn't understand, the support that we have down here in the Atlanta area. So I'd like to really thank all the Orange Faithfuls that came out today. They were loud, and I thought that made a difference, especially in that run. They started getting loud, and our guys feed off of that. We talk about level 5. And again, I thought the Orange Faithfuls today were level 5 on the road, and that was big time for us. Thank you.